Hello everyone, this is Vinita and welcome to Hopeful Turns. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the tutorial of this crochet ear warmer. Now, this is a very simple and easy way to make a crochet ear warmer, and this is an absolutely beginner friendly pattern. So if you are just getting started in crochet, if you are a beginner in crochet, you can definitely give this pattern a try. Now you can adapt this pattern to any size. You can make it right from a child size to an adult size. So it is customizable for any size that you want to make it for. And it's a very simple pattern. Now this is a basic ear warmer. You can definitely use this as a headband also. You can increase the width, decrease your width. So it is totally customizable pattern depending on what you are looking for. Now, if you want to just add something more to the basic ear warmer, I do have a few options. So the first one would be to use some kind of a flower, maybe a rose flower, or you can even go for a popcorn flower. It would be better if you use a big size flower. That's what I prefer. So definitely you can use flowers to just make it a little more interesting, or you can use some wooden buttons depending on your taste. So this is going to be a non-functional, but if you want, you can just add a few buttons. Another way to use this is to use some bow ties. So you can get a bow tie here like this, and you can just knot it down. So you can use this as a knotted headband, or even you can use this as a twisted headband. So ear warmer. So twisted ear warmer is quite popular. So you can use the same basic headband and make it into something called twisted or a knotted ear warmer or a knotted headband. All these patterns I have already uploaded on my channel. The flower pattern, the bow ties, everything is there on my channel. So I'll put all the links in the description box. If you're interested, you can check that up as well. Also, I'll put some links in the iCard, so you can give that a try. So definitely you can make use of this basic ear warmer in different ways depending on what your preference is. So let's see what are the materials that you would require. Now for this pattern here, I have used a worsted weight or medium 4 weight acrylic yarn, and I have used a 5 mm or size I crochet hook. It would be better if you use a size 4 or a chunky weight, that is size 5, and the corresponding hook size. The ear warmer will come out quite nicely, especially if you are a beginner. If you use a thicker yarn and the big size hook, the pattern just finishes off faster. So you can use medium 4 weight or medium 5 weight and go with the recommended hook size. Apart from that, you would require a pair of scissors and a darning needle. So these are the few requirements for the ear warmer. Now before moving on to the tutorial, a very small request. If you're new to my channel and if at any point in the video you like what you see, please do not forget to press on the like button. And if you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. Now I do have a full playlist for beginner friendly patterns. If you're interested, you can definitely go and check that playlist, or you can find all the links in the description box. Okay, so now let's just move into the tutorial. So we'll start this off with a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, you take your yarn and then loop it around your finger like an X. Once you have that, you take this loop off and pull your working yarn through this loop. So this here is your slip knot. So once you have your slip knot, just attach your hook to it and pull the two ends. Okay, so this here is your slip knot. The first step is to make a chain stitch, and the chain stitch should be long enough to go around your head. So we'll start the chain stitch. So to make a chain stitch, you go left, you go under your yarn and pull up a loop. So this here is your first chain stitch. We'll do that again. You go left, you go under your yarn and pull up a loop. This is your second chain stitch. Like this, you'll have to make a long chain stitch which can cover the circumference of your head. So just make a long chain stitch and just make it 1 to 1.5 inches smaller than your head circumference. So if your head circumference is say 22 inches you just make it around 21 inches because every yarn will have some kind of a stretch to it. Now this again depends on the type of yarn you use. If you are using a bulky weight yarn, the stretch will be lesser. If you are using a worsted weight yarn, you'll have more stretch. So depending on the yarn, the hook and the tension that you have, the chain stitches will depend. So just make a long chain stitch. Just try it out on your head and see if both the ends meet together and the fit is comfortable. Okay, so I'll just make a long chain stitch, long enough to fit around the circumference of my head. Okay, so here I have got my chain stitch and this is long enough to comfortably sit around my head. So once you have your chain stitch, we'll start with the first round. To make the first round, we have to do a single crochet round. So for that, what we'll do is we will skip the very first chain stitch. So this here is your very first chain stitch, not the loop on your hook. This you should not count as a chain stitch, but from the hook, the first stitch. This is the first stitch that we are going to skip, and into the second stitch we are going to place our first single crochet. So skipping this stitch, insert your hook into the second stitch like this, and we are going to make a single crochet. So you just pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So this here is your first single crochet. Come to the next stitch, again make a single crochet. So insert your hook into that stitch, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So this here is our second single crochet. Like this, you have to make 1 full row of single crochets. So like this, we have to place 1 single crochet till the end of this row. So we'll do once again. So into your next stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So like this, just finish making 1 row of single crochets. Now, as I have said, if you use a different size yarn and hook, the number of chain stitch may increase or decrease. So if you are using a bulky weight yarn and say 6.5 or 7 mm crochet hook, you might not have to do so many single crochet. So just depending on the chain stitch that you have at hand, just place 1 single crochet on all of the stitches. So I'll just make 1 single crochet till the end of this row, and I'll meet you once I have the single crochets. Okay, so here I have reached the end of this row and I have a full row of single crochet like this. Okay, I have just last 2 stitches left, so I thought I'll do it with you. So these are my last 2 stitches. There also just make a single crochet. So this here is my very last stitch, so make a single crochet there also. So this completes 1 full row of single crochet. Now we'll move on to a second row, and from here onwards the pattern is the same. You'll have to do the same thing that we are going to do. So once you finish a row, you have to chain 1 and then you turn your work. Now the chain 1 that you have put will act as your turning chain. So this one was your chain 1 and this is our turning chain. Now come to the very first stitch here. This is your chain 1, this is your single crochet from the previous row. In that, there also you'll have to put a single crochet. So we are again going to work a single crochet row, but this time we are going to work in the back loops. So if you see your stitches like this, you can see V's kind of thing. You just have to slant it a little bit. So if you look from here, this is your front loop and this one is your back loops. So we are going to place a single crochet in the back loops. Okay, so we'll do that. So this was a chain 1 that we are going to skip. Insert your hook in the first single crochet and that too only in the back loop, and then make your normal single crochet like this. Okay, come to the next stitch. See, this is the V. We are going to place our hook into the back loop only, not the V. So insert your hook there, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. Come to the next stitch. Insert your hook into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. So just make 1 row of single crochet worked in the back loop. So you have to repeat this till you reach the end of this row. So working in the back loops will provide us the ridged effect. Okay. Now if you really find this very difficult to work in the back loop, you can use both the loops, both the front and the back. You can just place your hook under the V stitch, but it's just that you will not get the ridged or ribbed kind of an effect. So I'll just make one row of single crochet, all worked in the back loop. I'll show you once again. So this is your V, this is your front loop, this is your back loop. Insert your hook into the back loop, pull up a loop, you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So I'll just complete one row of single crochets. Okay, so I'll meet you once I finish this row. Okay, so here I have finished my second row as well. I have just my very last stitch left. So the very last stitch will be a little bit lower than all the other stitches, so don't miss that. So in the very last stitch also make a single crochet in the back loop. So don't miss that very last stitch. It might not be as level as the other stitches. Okay, so this completes our 2 row of single crochet. We'll move on to the next row, and which is same as the second row. So from here onwards, every row we'll start with chain 1. So this chain 1 is going to be acting as a turning chain, and once you have that, you turn your work, come to the very first single crochet. This is your chain 1, this is your first single crochet. So in the back loop of the first single crochet, you make your single crochet. So here is our first single crochet. Come to the next stitch, working only in the back loops, make a single crochet like this. So this is your next stitch. You can see the V. Insert your hook into the back loop of that stitch, pull up a loop, you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So like this, just make another row of single crochet, and this is the procedure that you have to repeat till you are having about 13 to 14 rows of single crochet. So I'm just going to repeat the same pattern. I'm going to make, for me, 13 rows of single crochet would be enough. So depending on the width of the ear warmer that you are looking for, you might have to make that many rows of single crochet. So I'm just going to make the same single crochet row. Every time I reach the end of the row, I'll chain 1, turn my work and start working a single crochet in the back loops. Okay, so this kind of creates the ribbed effect. Okay, so I'll just repeat this pattern. I'll make 13 rows of single crochet, all worked in the back loop. And I'll meet you once I'm finished with the 13 rows. So continue making single crochet rows. Okay, so here I have finished my 13 rows of single crochet, and this is the width that I have. If you want more width, you can just increase the number of single crochet. So this was my last single crochet. So I'm just going to chain 1 and pull up the yarn to quite a long yarn I'm going to pull up, because we are going to use that yarn to stitch up the 2 ends. So just take a long yarn and then cut the end here. Okay, so here I have cut my yarn and I have attached a darning needle, and now we are going to stitch these 2 ends together. So just fold these up and we are going to stitch it up. Okay, so we'll start. You can use any stitch that you want. Just make sure that both are lined up correctly and we can start. So in the very first stitch, I'm just going to attach so that both are in place, and then use any stitch that you like to just stitch these 2 ends together. So I'll just stitch them up together. Okay, so here I have reached the very end. I'm just going to make 1 knot like this and pull it out. Okay, and then in the remaining whatever yarn is there, I'm just going to hide it again inside before cutting this off. Just hide in the loose ends through the different stitches. Anyway, we have knotted it down, so it should not be a big problem, but still we have to hide in the loose ends. Okay. Now we can cut this off. Now we have this end again to hide in, so you can just use a darning needle and hide in the ends, and you can just turn over your work. So there, our ear warmer is ready. Now if you see, you do have a seam here, so if you want to hide it, you can use some flowers, maybe a rose flower or a popcorn flower. If you want, you can just add them, or what you can do is you can even attach some buttons, something like this. Or you can just use, just make sure that the seam is behind the back of your head so that it is completely hidden. Now another way to use this, as I have mentioned in the beginning or the introduction, you can use something called a bow tie. So you can use this bow tie and just tie it up into a bow so that you can use it as a knotted headband or as a twisted headband. So you can even use that if you do not really want to use it just like a basic ear warmer or a headband. So that's all for the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed making this. I hope you loved the pattern and you will give this a try. Now if you liked it, please do not forget to press on the like button, and if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye. Thank you for watching.